ETheManWilliams YouTube page. We're about to have a good time. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because we are about to go in.
Let's get it. We go hard, 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 hard. We play hard, 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 hard.
We gotta start talking about little money when we first get started, because matter of fact, I'm gonna change my name. This is gonna be ETheManWilliams. You know what I'm saying? I'll start making people respect my moolah.
I'm gonna tell you like this. Money conversations piss people off. Shout out to my brother Peter the investor, always supporting the show. He said, make sure that water fund stay lit. So shout out to Peter. I appreciate you, bro. Honestly, I will talk briefly about Tesla, right? Because I just read a report, which I already knew was going to happen, but they said Tesla is starting to lose market share, right? Because they sold like the most EVs in Q3 or whatever the case is, basically as the car industry, and their market share fell from like 60 something to 50 something, right? And here's the thing that people don't know. I've been telling people this. They are not going to maintain that huge market share lead because cars are not just they're not necessarily even a necessity, right? You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's built off of desires and what you like, colors and different things. And they're not going to be able to just control a market with that high of a percentage. It's not going to happen. People are going to buy other cars for things beyond just that. So there's too many personalities involved. So their market share is going to continue to drop. But that doesn't mean because the market share drops that the stock is going to necessarily reflect that, because it's really a lot of emotions involved with that. And they have such a major league that it's hard for people to touch them. But I find it very, very interesting. So we'll do a deep dive on that.
Well, I think the person that I really don't think, especially with the strikes and different things going on with these other unions in the automobile, I don't think that they are a threat. Let me share this with you real quick, because this is who I think is kind of like the big threat right now that a lot of people are not talking about. Shout out to Atlanta, because this is my home city, and I kind of love that about it. So give me
whoa. Before you even get to that video, you're saying you don't even think those other auto industries is a threat. Like that ain't Tesla problem, is what you're saying.
No, I don't think until they get their unions right, until they get this money thing right, I don't think they're a threat. Now, when I say that, people say, are you saying that they're not going to be a threat in the future? That's not what I said. I mean, currently, if we go today, 10, 12, 23, they're not a threat because they have inside problems that they have to figure out. They can't even worry about Tesla right now because they got to worry about the employees. The employees don't even want to go to work. How are you going to go compete? It's almost like me playing a basketball game. And I say, you know what? I'm worried about the Lakers and I'm the Clippers, and my starting five don't even show up. I got other problems to worry about before I worry about the other team.
You have to understand that market share is not just here. It's abroad. You know what I mean? The market in China, the market in other countries. So they not necessarily boycotting the way they boycott here in the US. So that's going to have some impact on numbers and things like that. But I just ultimately believe their market share is just going to come down because it's just so wide, and that we both know that these industries are going to, well, they already can make these vehicles. Is it as, well, I'll phrase it like this. People don't necessarily buy cars because they get you the most miles, because they, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's something else that gets people into it. And I think other companies are going to be able to compete because people are going to be like, oh, E, you got a Tesla? I don't want one because E got one. It's very similar. So like that's what's going to be the biggest problem. They're going to have way too much competition. So to maintain that lead, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, the stock won't perform as if they maintain the lead, but the actual numbers won't represent that.
Well, I think so. I don't know what's going on. We're on the same side of the world, but you're part of the world. But here in Washington, they're already talking about saying, well, it's not going to be legal in the next 10 years to even sell gas.
Yeah,
the gas operating.
We passed that first in California. What you talking about? We're on the other side of the world.
But I said it that way because I didn't know. And when you don't know, you don't speak on things you don't know. So I don't know what's going on in California, but I can tell you what's going on in Washington. And in Washington, they have already started moving towards getting rid of. But the Tesla is scary right now. My financial advisor, he was like, hey, you want to go riding in the Tesla? And we was in that Tesla, and he put in the auto control, and that Tesla hit a corner like we just stole something from a bank. I tell you, I ain't never had a car hit a corner like that Tesla hit that corner. So I think they still got to figure some stuff out, especially with that automatic pilot, different things like that, because it's not trustworthy at this point.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a lot more work to go into it. They got a lot of politicians that they have to kind of grease their palms and all that good stuff and make sure they happy, making sure that they getting taxed for them so that they can eat, because everybody got to pay everybody. But it's going to happen. California will be the first to go. Down in the South, where you got all this long roads and all these things, they're not going to adopt it so quickly, right? And unless you're in a major city where you just navigating things that are very close proximity, it's not going to make sense for you to be driving so many miles with just, desert or forest or whatever the case is, for you to want to make that quick jump. But ultimately, it's going to happen. So it's interesting. It's something to dive deep into next time for a different conversation. But I'm curious. Who do you think Tesla's biggest? Who do you think they have the most to worry about? Like, honestly, because
I think Tesla's worried about the black man. They worried about the black man because the black man is God, and he done figured a way to outsmart the most richest man in the world. And he's still the richest man on the earth, or
he's still the richest man. He's still the richest man right now. But wait, you think Tesla afraid of the black man? After all these conversations where we hear that black man ain't this and black man ain't that, they don't create nothing, they don't build nothing, they don't do nothing. You think they worried about little old black man? All right, if you say so.
I think Elon Musk, ain't that who owns Tesla, right? Elon Musk. I think that's who that is, right?
He's the biggest shareholder, so the answer to that question would be yes.
I think Elon Musk have got into his private jet and he done flew down to the hoods of Atlanta. I'm talking about he done went to the projects of Atlanta and he have taken a meeting with this black man. I really believe, like, if you really, let's play the video, Aaron, and maybe I'm off, and if I'm off, chat, please let me know, because there's a lot of black people that do some very dynamic things, and they're really doing some things that's changing the industry, but we don't talk about them. We just talk about the baby daddies that don't show up. But let's play this video real quick.
The very first African-American automaker has inspired an Atlanta car maker to bring the black community into the EV revolution.
Derek Bailey has gasoline-powered vehicles he converted to electric.
Our retrofit is to show that we can use our technology to actually bring everyone into the EV revolution by allowing you to bring an old car in on Monday, and next Monday you pick up an electric car.
He's also preparing to launch production of a new EV that'll be equipped with a special generator that'll charge the car's battery, eliminating the need for a charging station.
So imagine this, Aaron. Just imagine this. Imagine me being able to take my favorite car. My favorite car is an 84 Cutlass Supreme. I know a lot of people from the West Coast, y'all don't know too much about Cutlasses, but imagine me being able to take an 85 Cutlass Supreme and I fly my favorite vehicle down there. And then he says, I'm going to take this old car and I'm going to bring it into the 2023. I'm going to bring it into modern technology. I'm going to take that car and I'm converted in 7 days. Did he say 7 days? He said one working. He said 1 business week. 1 business week, I'm be able to take the car that you love so much, and I'm going to be able to convert it to an EV car where you can drive down in style with the vehicle that you want. I think he got Elon Musk sweating right now. I think Elon Musk is saying, let me go on down there to Georgia, because we can't let these Southerners outsmart us in our own game. What you think, Aaron?
I don't think he would ever made it this far if he was that big of a threat. I'm gonna be honest with you. They get rid of you quick. But I have heard of him. I know a little bit about his story. It's interesting. I don't know how much traction he's going to be able to galvanize with the rest of the country. But and I don't know, maybe he can scale that. But I think there's going to be some intellectual property issues. I think there's going to be a couple other things to worry about. I don't know if he'll get enough funding, support, lawsuits that could happen because of I think there's going to be a need for more trials because if something burns up, etc. So he is legitimately an issue, but I just don't know to what degree. But it's actually good to see brothers show you their capabilities and just what they're able to do. And a lot of times this type of stuff get shoved under the rug and nobody knows that they're capable of doing this stuff, and they don't know that it's a brother that can do it. So shout out to him.
Well, the reason I like what he's doing is because he's going to be able to say, hey, how much does it cost me to convert a vehicle, right? Of course, converting a Mercedes versus converting a Cadillac is going to be totally different, right? Just because if you understand how the computer work in these cars, it's just going to be different, right? I ain't going to go into detail about that. But what I am believing, just based off what I'm seeing, if he do figure this out, if he can make where you can convert your car, because the biggest thing that I hear in Washington, what people don't like about the Tesla is they don't like how it looks. They say it looked like a spaceship. They says that it's not attractive, but that's really the only option that they have in the EV space that they can get at mass right now, right? I know it's not other options, but even with Tesla, the problem with Tesla is that if I get a Tesla, I got to wait 3 to 6 months before I get my Tesla delivered to me. So I think if he really can pull off 7 days, Aaron, it's going to be amazing on the market share that he's going to get. Because you know, all your favorite rappers, they can't wait 6 months. They want their car now. So imagine they could take the Lambo of their dreams, the Lambo that's already in their garage, and convert it to an EV car. I think that he's going to be a problem, and a big problem at that.
Yeah, but I think what then comes into play is like horsepower, acceleration. I don't know if he can duplicate that legally. I think he can convert it from a gas powered thing to an electric thing, but will it still have the same capabilities? That is very important to people. So I'm not saying he can't do it because it's a possibility, but legally, I don't know. But it's interesting. But I don't think people have a problem with waiting for those type of cars. If you look at the i8, the BMW, right, it's a very popular car. It just don't have the mileage under a single charge, is why it's probably not more at scale, because if you remember, it was very, very popular. So, but I think the cost might be too high in general, so you got to bring that down. It's more of a luxury car anyway. But if you can start bringing things down to, like, we know the sweet spot for like, you know, consumers is probably somewhere around $25,000 to $40,000 range to get a high volume. And then when you start getting the pickup trucks, that's a little bit more expensive. So if they can start getting the pricing down somewhere around $30,000 to $45,000, then they're going to be able to sell them at a faster rate. But I think the business model is what it is. In order to get rid of conventional, what is those things?
Combustion engines.
Well, just for their model, it's basically customized to delivery, right? So they no longer have where you can just drive to a car lot and pick something up really like that. They exist, but not at enough volume to where you can get your car immediately, especially if you customize it. So, I mean, that's just going to come with time.
Mm-hmm. I just think that could be, if you really can do a 7-day turnaround, and I know he's talking about the future, because I don't think that he has the capacity to do a 7-day turnaround today, right? I think most people don't want to wait. And if they can convert what they currently love in 7 days, most people choose that over waiting 6 months for a Tesla. That's just my opinion. But the Tesla is something different, because it's not just that it's an EV car. When I sat in that Tesla, when we drove past trash cans, it knew that trash can was on the street. Like, so if you look in the Tesla, the whole dashboard turns into a map when you go into autopilot. And when I say they see everything from a dog, I don't know how a camera can put a dog on a map versus a trash can, but it is some future technology that we think is definitely going to work.
Yeah. I think at some point everybody's going to have electric vehicles. It's going to be the same process we're in now. I think somebody had to lead with the gas and the combustion vehicles in the beginning, and then slowly market share was it. It's going to be the same process, no matter what people think. But that don't mean people ain't going to get fat and they ain't going to make a whole lot of money in this process, because they will make a whole lot of money. I just look at certain companies and I'm just like, these valuations are insane. I was talking to somebody today, right? I'm looking at NVIDIA. Everybody loves NVIDIA. I'm like, you telling me a $1.3 trillion market cap and a net income was $6 billion? No. All right. Yeah. All right. You missed me with that. But right now, that's just how insane this AI is and all this type of stuff. And that not necessarily the performance of the company is equivalent to the stock, but sometimes it's just like it's getting insane. It's getting insane, to be honest with